Okay, sir. We can start now.
Sonu. Sonu, please start.
Okay, sir. Good evening to one and all. Don't be afraid of the space between your dreams and reality. If you dream it, you can make it so. Belva Davis. And the first pharma professional organization of Kerala, KPGA, is here to add more power to your wings and to make you more strong to chase your dreams with this webinar series on overseas career and research opportunities for pharmacy students. With the successful completion of the previous 6 webinars, KPGA is proudly inviting you all for the 7th module, Dream to Become a Researcher in the United Kingdom, Introduction to Pathways and the Procedures. My dearest pharma fraternity, myself, Master of Ceremony of the Day, Sonu Beni, PhD Research Scholar, Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, Amrita Vishwavidyapidam, would like to welcome you all to this brainstorming session on behalf of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association. Hearty welcome to one and all. Well begun is half done. Let's start with a prayer song to seek blessings from God Almighty. Words are the true expression of heart. It is my privilege to invite an efficient and versatile pharma professional, one of the very active member of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association, Mr. Sunil Kumar D, Treasurer KPGA, and the Principal, AJ John, College of Pharmacy, Thornical, Trivandrum, to welcome the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sonu.
Just there is a correction. Principal AJ College of Pharmacy, Trivandrum. Thornical, Trivandrum. Okay, please.
Okay. Thank you, Sonu. Good evening, all. Respected chair and participants of today's webinar, I feel proud to be here for welcome speech, being the part of Kerala Pharmacy Graduate Association. The association is doing its best by conducting various activities, especially for the students. I congratulate the KPGA Executive Committee members for their effort and keep going forward. This is the 7th program of webinar series, and I am here to welcome all. First of all, with immense pleasure, I would like to welcome Mr. P.K. Harikumar, retired General Manager, KSDP, to chair the webinar. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Subhash Philip, Vice Principal, Marthoma Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, Kayangulam, to introduce the module. I extend my warm welcome to our today's speaker, Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas, Research Associate, Department of Pathology, University of Cambridge, in the topic Introduction to Pathway and Procedure to Become a Researcher in UK. Next, I hearty welcome to the moderator of this session, Dr. Naveen Kumar Panikar, Associate Professor, St. Joseph College of Pharmacy, Cherthala. With great pleasure, I welcome Mrs. Ashwati A, Analyst Grade 3, Drug Testing Laboratory, Trivandrum, who is here to deliver vote of thanks. I welcome our President, Dr. P.K. Srikumar sir, General Secretary, Sri Abdul Nasir, Executive Committee members of Kerala Pharmacy Graduate Association, members of KPGA, faculties and students of various institutions, and all the participants of this webinar. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. With much respect, let me invite an impulsive and a well-experienced industrial pharma professional, Mr. P.K. Harikumar, retired General Manager, KSDP Alapura, and the life member of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association to chair the session. With much respect, over to you, sir.
Good evening to one and all. Thank you, Sonu, for your nice words. I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Vibrant President of Mother Pharmacy Association of Kerala, KPGA, Dr. P.K. Srikumar, retired Deputy Drug Controller and active General Secretary Sri Abdul Nasir, Treasurer and Principal of AJ College of Pharmacy, Sri Sunil Kumar, and our esteemed speaker, Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas, Research Associate, Department of Pathology, University of Cambridge, and Introduction of Module, Dr. Subhash Philip, Vice Principal, Marthoma Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, Kayangulam, and Dr. Naveen Kumar Panikar, who is the moderator of this session, Associate Professor of St. Joseph College of Pharmacy, Cherthala, Mrs. Ashwati A, Analyst Grade 3, Drug Testing Lab, Trivandrum, Dr. Jayashekhar, Sri Samad, and senior pharmacists, dear fellow professionals and participants. I am much delighted to be a part of this new initiative of KPGA to show the pathways for better career, especially abroad, to fulfill the dreams. Today's webinar is the 7th of such series. To motivate and for given a lot of information about this. Dreams to become a researcher in the UK. Introduction to pathways and procedures. As you know, in opportunities for pharmacy graduates, they can choose to work in the areas like drug research and development, clinical trials, pharmacovigilance, retail sector, hospitals, clinics, community pharmacy, pharmaceutical sales and marketing, industrial pharmacy and production, regulatory affairs, health data analysis and medical writing, veterinary pharmacy, social and administrative pharmacy, pharmacy journalism, the academics, etc. Thus, a wide area is available for career opportunities. Today's subject is one among them, the opportunity that is research in UK, handled by Dr. Sherine, who is a highly experienced person in this field. And now we are fortunate enough to hear her words from her own experiences, personal experiences. Extensive research into new drugs and their reactions, testings of new medicines, and areas of research projects, overseas projects, design and development of more effective delivery system, and over and under prescription problems and suitability of drug in specific diseases. Clinical researchers, as you know, are of three types: basic research, which contains the systematic study geared towards increasing the general scientific knowledge base, and translational research, application of this basic research, and then clinical research, direct interactions with people, and patient-oriented research, and then educational research, human learnings, and new tools for enhancing educational outcomes. Research make you more dynamic, enriches knowledge, and various research projects are available for joining and involvement. I am congratulating the officials of KPGA for taking this novel initiation, giving much help to budding pharmacists, especially in the global opportunities scenario. Thank you, the officials of KPGA, for inviting me to be in the chair of such auspicious webinar and this auspicious day. With all success and fruitful, effective webinar experience, I am wishing all success to fulfill their dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. To introduce the 7th module of the webinar series, with proud, let me invite a senior and sincere academician, Dr. Subhash Philip, and research curriculum. With utmost respect, over to you, sir.
Most respected Chair, Mr. P.K. Harima, sir, Host Speaker, our President, so Mr. P.K. Sriuma, sir, the Speaker for the day, Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas, and all distinguished leaders of KPGA, respected teachers, and my dear students. It's a great privilege to be part of this seminar series, and especially to present the introduction to this topic on Dream to Become a Researcher in the UK, Introduction to Pathways and Procedures. As we embark on a dream or on a career to research, one of the first things that normally comes to our mind is where to go. Of course, UK comes only next to USA as far as research is concerned, as far as the best universities in the world are concerned. As you all know, there are two main universities that brings all the credit for being the leading ones in the world, namely Cambridge and Oxford. These are just two of the top universities in the top 10 in the world. And if you look even at the top 50, UK has almost 7 universities in the top 50. And even in the top 200, there are around 32 universities in UK. And UK is a nation compared to the population or the territorial size of the nation, much smaller, about the size of perhaps one of the states of India. But the immense amount of research output has ranked the country second in the world for science and research. The field-weighted citation impact is actually higher than US, Canada, Germany, Japan, or India for that matter. So it is also known as the think tank epicenter of the world, with almost 110 think tanks or organizations that provide the best minds in the world. So with this few introduction to UK, what I would like to say is it's an opportunities galore for any researcher planning to go abroad. Of course, UK, you know that 4 countries make up United Kingdom, that is England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And lately, Northern Ireland is actually a hub of pharmaceutical manufacturing. They've attracted nearly 28 pharmaceutical companies to their land, and that has furthered the research opportunities much more. Another very important thing that we should understand is whenever we think about research, we have to either choose academics or industry. One of the two areas where research is mostly handled. There are also research institutions, but these are the two areas into which we can really go into. And clinical research is one of the areas which is topping in all kinds of research, because large number of drugs new drugs needs to be tested, and lots of opportunities arise day in and day out. Apart from that, you have newer job opportunities like medical coding, and as well as many opportunities related to the newer sciences like pharmacogenomics and these kind of things. But all this requires a good set of skills. A good set of skills in the sense a person will face the biggest challenge, especially from people from Kerala, with regard to communication. We require a very good command over the English language, which is often tested through IELTS and other examinations right at the beginning. I think the British Council plays a very important role, especially in helping you to understand what are the ways and means by which you can go to the UK. Of course, two scholarships which come to our mind is actually the Commonwealth Scholarship as well as the Chevening Scholarship, which are very famous across the globe. And especially for Commonwealth countries, you have the Commonwealth Scholarship as well as a host of scholarship pertaining to each of the universities which you plan to venture into. But there is also another area which you have to really think about. That is the area of your interest, or where your competence lies, or the area in which you have done research in the masters. All this will count very much to help you further your goal. And once you have finalized on your area of interest and you have secured your scholarship, you can probably go for the next step, which is the visa. And thereafter, there are umpteen number of organizations which help you guide where you can land in a proper job. Sites like Indeed, LinkedIn, or jobs.ac.in all help you in finding even research related careers there, like research assistant or allied jobs. So what I call for to all the students who are planning to go to the UK is that real ground preparation is really required. I think with these few words, I think I can hand over the mic to the speaker. I think these words will be sufficient to actually guide you through. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. Dream to become a researcher in United Kingdom. Introduction to pathways and procedures. Here we start with an extremely right resource, Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas, Research Associate, Department of Pathology, University of Cambridge, and Biofellow in Biochemistry, Murray Edward College, University of Cambridge. Before moving to the detailing of our speaker of the day, I would like to kindly remind all the participants to post your queries in the chat box and to make use of this platform. At this juncture, it is my pleasure to invite a masterful and streamlined academician, Dr. Naveen Kumar Panikar, Associate Professor, St. Joseph's College of Pharmacy, Cherthala, and life member of KPGA to moderate the session and to introduce the speaker. With much respect, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, the ever graceful and elegant Ms. Sonu, for bringing me in. Good evening to all. Sunday evening, a nice number of participants. That's good news. So we are all happy for you. A warm welcome to one and all to this wonderful evening. Now, as we all know, KPGA has been conducting a series of webinars with international speakers coming out with their views, their suggestions, and information regarding how it is in their countries, respective countries. We had speakers from UK, not UK, the one today we have from UK, we had from the US, Canada, Australia. So we could come to know about what are the requirements in those countries, what are the job prospects, what are the options, which are really very useful for the budding pharmacists out there. And I'm sure, please don't miss these sessions. They are very, very, very useful. If you have not selected the area that you want to go, watch these webinars. You will get an idea where you will fit into. And if you have already fixed your area, please go through these webinars. You will know how to reach those places. So for the budding pharmacists out there, these are the series that you should not miss at all. And for the others, for us, it is nice to know how our fellow pharmacists are doing in the different parts of the world. What are the new things that have come in those parts of the world? What are the new additions, the new venues? What are the changes to the already existing systems? So all these information is passed on through these webinars. So this initiative is one very wonderful initiative. Full credit as a teacher, I'll give 100 out of 100 to KPGA. And of course, sir, Srikumar sir, Nazir sir, big salute for bringing out with such a good initiative. Very good initiative.
All the best. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This is a wonderful initiative. Nice to hear from people around the world to know how our fellow pharmacists are doing everywhere. So, and one more thing, when our fellow pharmacists are doing very well all over the world, and we know that pharmacists are respected, they're doing well in their career, they have a lot of options, and they are well respected, and of course, make a lot of money too. It makes us proud, right? And yes, in India, we have a long way to go, but surely we will reach that. All of us will work for it, and we will reach to those standards that have been set by our fellow pharmacists around the world. So we will wait for that day, but it will happen sooner or later. So it is nice to hear all our fellow pharmacists doing so well. So I am really proud to be a pharmacist. I'm sure all of you are proud to be a pharmacist. Yes, can some of you just put it in the chat box, a hi, saying yes, you believe that you are a proud pharmacist? Come on, let's be proactive. In the seminar, yes, I got first one from Sonu. Sonu is a proud pharmacist like me, and yes, there comes all the proud pharmacists out there. So it's nice to have proud pharmacists in this lovely audience. So it's nice having you all. Now, as we were discussing, there are many various options that a pharmacist has. In fact, it is an ocean of possibilities. So we have different fields where we can fit into. Yeah, the yes seems to be coming. Oh, yes, I'm proud to be a pharmacist. Thank you for being so very good audience, right? That's the spirit we pharmacists should have. Now, yes, coming to the topic, we have a lot of areas wherein we pharmacists can fit into. And one area which we are going to discuss today is research. Right from the day when man came to earth, right? He's been researching. And due to that research only, we have seen all the developments that has happened and all the changes that have happened. So research is inevitable. We need to do research. And especially in the field of medicine, pharmacy, research is the thing, right? So we need people who can do research. Yes, you know, because of the research, we have brought out a lot of new treatment patterns, a lot of diagnosis, are being done. All that is good, but that's not enough. We need to go along. Newer challenges. We have COVID. Suddenly overnight, we had COVID. We didn't know what it was. So we needed research to find out what it is. We needed diagnostic methods to find out how to identify it. We need treatment patterns. So many challenges ahead, unanswered questions. So we need research, right? For research, we need good researchers. So good researchers are one who are ready to work hard, who are ready to have that initiative to really work it out, slog it out, and of course, dream big. You need to dream really big, right? And when it comes to dream, the words of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is what resonates everywhere, right? Dreams are not that you see when you go to sleep. Those are the ones that don't allow you to sleep. So, dear budding pharmacists, please dream like that, right? And one of those dreamers is sitting right in amongst us. She did that dreaming, she worked hard, and today she is in the UK as a research associate, right? So that is something that all of you, the budding pharmacists, should try to emulate. She's a role model whom you can try to follow up, right? So let's all the budding pharmacists dream big, work hard, and tomorrow, we don't know, Sri Kumar sir will call you as an international speaker and ask you to address the gathering and motivate the then budding pharmacists. Happen. It can happen, right? Not only in Sri Kumar sir, maybe the World Health Organization will award you with a Nobel Prize. Possible. So research, there is no end to research. And we are lucky to have amongst us one such researcher. And taking through or helping us to dream research through the London streets will be Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas. Now, today's topic is Dream to Become a Researcher in UK, Introduction to Pathways and Procedures. Now, I was just going through Dr. Sherine's resume. I understand that Dr. Sherine is a very accomplished person with passion for research and teaching. In fact, when we just started off, in fact, we were the first two to get into the webinar, and we did have a brief introduction, and I was very happy to know that she settled down very nicely in the UK with her lovely husband and the good son along with her, and they're doing extremely well there. Now, just a brief about what she's been doing or what is her achievements. Dr. Sherine went to UK as a British Commonwealth scholar after a MSc degree in medicinal chemistry. Oh, sorry. I just got it confused. Dr. Sherine went to UK as a British Commonwealth scholar after graduating from University of Kerala. So she finished it from here and started from here, and she's reached there. Dr. Sherine did her MSc degree in medicinal chemistry in Loughborough University. I hope the pronunciation is correct. And trained in drug discovery research in the pharmaceutical industry prior to completing her PhD in biochemistry at the University of Cambridge. She currently works as a research associate in the Department of Pathology, University of Cambridge, and is a bi-fellow in biochemistry, Murray Edwards College, University of Cambridge. Dr. Sherine also provides training to PhD and project students. She has a lot of publications in reputed journals. So one thing that I found interesting in Dr. Sherine's current research was the use of fragment-based drug discovery. And that is something that is going to be the future, because one big problem that we are facing, antimicrobial resistance. So we need to counter it. We need drugs to counter it. And researchers like Dr. Sherine are going to help us out, and she needs support. So budding pharmacists out there, go there. We want more drugs that can fight against these antibiotics, right? So I'm sure all of you are very eagerly awaiting to hear from Dr. Sherine. Just before that, a gentle reminder to all of you, like Ms. Sonu had told, please put in your queries in the chat box, and we will discuss the same at the end of the session. And also, please remember, you are expected to observe the webinar etiquettes. So with that, I warmly welcome Dr. Sherine. Sherine, the screen is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all the speakers. And thank you for the nice introduction and warm welcome. Let me try and share my screen here. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. And by the way, Nawinsa, I am also very proud to be a pharmacist. And in fact, my pharmacy degree from the College of Pharmaceutical Sciences in Medical College, Trivandrum, it formed a really great foundation to build upon as I went on to become a researcher. And I also must thank KPGA for organizing this webinar series and actually bringing together professionals, students, alumni, and teachers in various in pharmacy colleges around Kerala. And thank you very much for the opportunity. I would start by, I thought of starting by quoting Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and by coincidence, I saw that Nawinsa had already spoken about these words, that dream is not that which you see while sleeping, but it is something that does not let you sleep. And this picture over here is from my school days in 2002, when Dr. Kalam actually visited my school. And I was among this group of ecstatic students trying to interact with him. It was a really exciting moment. And this was something that he said at that time. Although I did not fully understand the deeper meaning of those words, but over the years, as I worked towards a research career, now I was able to really grasp the deeper meaning of this. Because research career, although it's very rewarding in terms of the scientific discovery, the excitement of scientific discovery, it can also be very challenging at times, because you might be faced with plans that did not work out, experiments that failed. You might be faced with rejections of manuscripts and grant applications. So it does require a lot of passion, a lot of determination and drive to actually enjoy a research career. And my own journey was not one of the most straightforward or usual one, starting right after finishing my graduation from medical college in Trivandrum. It was more like this, where I tried a few different things, really. Like Dr. Nawinsa said, I did an MSc degree in medicinal chemistry from Loughborough University as a British Commonwealth scholar. I will talk about various scholarship opportunities later on in this talk. Towards the end of my MSc, motivated by my MSc project, I was more interested in structural biology. And that was also a time when a lot of important structural discoveries happened, such as the identification of structure of ribosome, GPCRs, and so on. So I really wanted to become a structural biologist, but I did not really know how to get there. Also, I didn't have a lot of basic training in structural biology. So then I came back to India. It was also a condition of this Commonwealth scholarship to be coming back to your home country and working working there. So I came back and then I tried to work as a research assistant. I was for about a year in IIT Kanpur in the structural biology lab of Dr. Balaji Prakash. And that was actually my first break into molecular and structural biology field. And that really helped me gain research experience as well. Following that, I also worked as a research associate, senior research associate in the Biocon Bristol Myers Squibb Research Center in Bangalore, where I was again using structural biology skills in drug discovery. So this was the path I took before I came here as a PhD student in biochemistry, and now I'm continuing on as a postdoctoral researcher. So all I wanted to reiterate here is to be not afraid to try out an unconventional path. You need not always take what is the most straightforward, and also to explore new ideas, new areas, and identify your interests before you actually settle down on any one of the areas. And again, hands-on skills, hands-on experience, whether it's in the form of a summer project that you did during your BPharm, or your master's project or BPharm project, or working in a research lab for some time, all these hands-on experiences and skills always counts. And it is always useful to have it for if you are interested in pursuing a research career. And for me, all the hands-on experience I had really helped in getting a PhD scholarship opportunity, but also to successfully complete my PhD. So it's something I think is very important to have. And also, there are no strict boundaries in science. Most research projects are multidisciplinary nowadays. Just to show you an example here, The picture in here on the right is actually a three-dimensional structure of a bacterial protein. This is a potential antibiotic target, and the protein is bound to inhibitors that inhibit the function of this protein. And these inhibitors can be potentially developed into antibiotics. Now, what I wanted to show here is, this is actually a piece from my own work, and I actually worked on it after going through a lot of bioinformatic studies initially, but also it was a multidisciplinary project. For example, I started by identifying the target gene and then cloned the gene, in this case, to express the protein in bacteria. So that involves bioinformatics and molecular biology, microbiology skills. And then I isolated the protein in the lab, purified and characterized it. So that is chemistry, biochemistry, biophysics. And in this particular case, I used a technique called X-ray crystallography to identify the three-dimensional structure of this protein. So that's a method where you shoot X-rays into crystals of protein and you determine the diffraction pattern and use the diffraction pattern to derive how exactly the atoms of this protein is arranged in space. So that involves physical and mathematical principles. Of course, once you determine the structure, you also need to understand the chemical principles of how the various chemical bonds, bond length, angles, how it is arranged in space. And also you need computational skills to be able to finally build the three-dimensional model and then understand how exactly this potential drug would interact with its target, and use medicinal chemistry to design better drugs. So what I wanted to say is that most of the projects nowadays are multidisciplinary, and a lot of disciplines, a lot of skills need to come together to be able to solve a biological or healthcare problem. So in today's talk, I will try to give an overview of various research opportunities in the UK, Masters by Research, PhD, and postdoctoral research. But I will also give an introduction to various scholarships, fellowships, and career paths for researchers in the UK. So I'll start by talking a bit about Masters by Research. This is probably something that many of you may not be familiar with. This is different from the taught Masters or the MSc program in the UK. Both the taught Masters and Masters by Research is a one-year course here, and 2 years if you're taking it part-time. But this is actually a good stepping stone to see if you are really interested in research. And it is a good preparation for a PhD degree if you are interested in it. And the title of the Masters by Research degree varies based on the university you are choosing. For example, MSCI is what University of Edinburgh calls it. Many other universities in the UK calls it MRes. Cambridge calls it MPhil. But it's all the same, Masters by Research, and it's a one-year program where you actually focus on a research project. You spend most of your time in a research lab, and you learn how to design experiments, how to handle experimental data, how to analyze it, how to present it. You also develop writing skills, and if you work hard enough, you can have publications at the end of your degree. And this also helps you identify your research interests. So it's a great program if you are not very sure about what research area to choose and to know whether research is actually your cup of tea. And in some cases, it can potentially progress into a PhD degree based on the research that you have done in your MRes. And then coming to doctoral program, PhD, or some universities like Oxford call the same degree as DPhil. Both are the same. And it's a 3 to 4 year program. And here you're actually focused on a particular research problem, usually one or more projects. And in some research programs, you will have a 1 year rotation in the first year, where you will be rotating various research labs before you actually settle in on one of the labs. There will be some coursework in the beginning, but it is mostly, you are mostly doing your research project throughout the 4 years. You will get training on research methods and techniques. You will be presenting your data regularly to your colleagues and your thesis panel. You will be presenting results. And finally, you'll be writing a research thesis and publishing your data in scientific journals. So this is how the doctoral program works. And the previous speaker has spoken about universities and ranking. So this is one useful site to look at university rankings and choose what kind of field you want to go for. Talking about PhD application procedures, there are 3 distinct routes that you can go by. One is looking at advertised positions. These are positions where the project is predefined, and usually the PI or the principal investigator of the lab would have applied and obtained grants to run this project. So this project will be funded and it has a predefined title. And the second is some institutions, particularly research institutions in here, also runs annual PhD selection rounds, but that happens only once a year, and you should be looking for a particular selection program and a particular deadline. And the third is unsolicited applications based on if you have a research interest, if you have identified a potential supervisor or a PI in a particular university department, then you can probably write directly to him via email and find out if he's interested in taking you. But this is a long shot because PI may or may not at that point have funds to employ you, or you may have to, if he's interested in taking you, may have to separately apply for scholarships. But in all cases, you make an initial application where you will need your cover letter, CV, and sometimes references. And you will be invited for interview if you're shortlisted. And if you're successful at the interview, you will be then asked to send a formal application to the university, provide all your certificates and transcripts of previous degrees, and references from academic referees. And you'll be asked to provide English language qualifications such as IELTS. And then once you're provided with all the university with all these documents, you finally receive an unconditional offer of admission. And with that, you then apply for your student visa and start your course. So this is the general sequence or procedure of how things work. And like I said before, if you are contacting a potential supervisor or a PI, how do you do that? If you have a research interest, you know, you need not be very specific, like I want to work on this particular target of this disease. You need not be that specific, but if you have a general idea of what your interests are, you can look at university websites, go to the departments that does this kind of work that you're interested in, look at the profile of PIs, and read through some of their publications. That will give you an idea of what kind of work you'll be doing there, and then contact the PI and see if he's interested. But if he doesn't reply, or if he says he's not interested, then it is probably better that you wait for an advertised position or for institutional PhD rounds. Sometimes PIs might tell you to apply for scholarships separately. They may be interested in taking you, but may not be having funds. But in that case, you can apply for scholarships, and once your scholarship get approved, then you can make a formal application to the university. All these might take up to a year, 6 months to a year. So it's important to plan and prepare in advance. Ideally, before the pre-final year of your course, it's important to start preparing for it. IELTS is something that you can prepare well in advance because the IELTS score is valid for, I think, 2 years. So if you have that ready to go, then you won't be delayed in getting your offer of admission. So that's something you can do while you're doing your B.Pharm or M.Pharm. And then what makes a strong application? I'm sure different people would have different opinion, but one thing is for sure, your cover letter and CV. These are the first piece of document any PI would be seeing. So it is worthwhile to invest time on that, time and effort, to make it as good as possible. And also references, identify strong people who can give you strong references, but also references that can be given on time, because most application procedures would have deadlines. So if your referees are too busy, it's your responsibility to remind them to write the references and make sure it is it's sent in on time. And just a word about cover letter, but it's also important if you're called for an interview. It is important that you understand the project that you're applying for. So like I said before, it's important to read through the PI's profile, what he's working on, his publications, not at least some of his publications. And in your cover letter, it's important to show that you understand the project, but also if you have any skills in that area, any previous skills or experiences that you can highlight in your cover letter. And it's important to show that you're eager to learn, to adapt, and that you're motivated and self-driven. And the PIs should have a confidence that you will successfully deliver the project. So it's important to show that in your cover letter. And CV, sorry, it has to be tailored to the job or the project description. Ideally, it's good to write the CV in a reverse chronological order. It's important to avoid jargons and personal information that's irrelevant. For example, for a position in Britain, you really don't even need to provide your date of birth or nationality in your CV. And it's important to highlight stuff that are relevant to that project. For example, if you're applying to a molecular biology lab and you have done some PCR or cloning before, it's important to highlight that in your CV. And look at examples of CVs. You can always Google it and you will find a lot of examples of good and bad CVs. And also try to keep it brief, because most professors, most PI do not have a lot of time to read through lengthy emails or cover letters. Cover letter, try to keep it within a page, CV 2-3 pages. And like I said before, take time to format your documents properly, and also give appropriate file names, not any random name, but CV hyphen your name or cover letter your name. So make sure the file is named appropriately. So these are some of the tips. And about scholarships and funding, I think previous speaker has already spoken about British Council. This is a very good a website to go to understand more about studies in the UK, as well as various scholarship options. Commonwealth Scholarship, that is given for master's and PhD studies in the UK. It is a fully funded scholarship. And there are also other options like Chevening, Great Scholarship. But like I said before, all these have specific deadlines. So it's important to look for it well in advance. And there are also specific scholarship for Indian nationals, like the INLACS, Dr. Manmohan Singh Scholarship, and the Newton Fund. Then also several universities and colleges have their own specific funds and bursaries. For example, Cambridge has Cambridge Trust and Gates Scholarship, and Oxford has Rhodes Scholarship. So these are some of the university college specific scholarship. And I would like you to note that the overseas student fee in the UK is higher than the home or the UK student rate. So for example, if a UK student pays about £5,000 a year, an overseas student pays about 4 times of that. So you might sometimes see positions that are not fully funded for overseas students. For example, you might receive a stipend, a monthly stipend, and your tuition fee may be covered at the home rate. So you'll be given the tuition fee equivalent to a UK student, but you will have to find the fee difference sometimes. So in that case, you might be able to find scholarships to cover the fee difference, or you might have to self-fund the fee difference. So this is something that you need to that you might see in some of the advertisements. Now, just a word about postdoctoral opportunities. Again, here there are two unique distinct paths. One is to look for advertised postdoctoral positions where the project would be predefined and there will be funds to run the project. Or you can, if you know your research area and interest, you can write your own project and get a fellowship. So again, in both cases, you will make an initial inquiry using your cover letter and CV, and you will have discussions with the PI over phone or email or in person. And if your application is successful, you will be then asked to put a formal application with the university or research institute you're applying to and upload certificates, references again, to receive a formal job offer. And here you will be, with the job offer, you can apply for a skilled worker visa here, and then you can start your postdoctoral position. These are some of the useful links. Nature Careers usually advertise postdoctoral opportunities in the UK, and Royal Society, Wellcome Trust, UKRI. These are the funding bodies providing fellowships for postdoctoral candidates. Again, the whole process might take up to an year, so it's important to plan and start in advance. For postdoctoral candidates, what are important? Your research interests, previous skills from your PhD, publications from your PhD, all these are important. And you'll be also required to work independently as a postdoc and even train fellow students, PhD students or project students in the lab. So it's important to demonstrate that you'll be able to do it. And also I have spoken about fellowships, and some postdoctoral fellowships are specific for Indian nationals and women. I'll come to that in a moment. But this is the place to go for and look for postdoctoral fellowships: Royal Society, Wellcome Trust, UKRI, as well as advertised positions in naturejobs.com. And like I said before, there are scholarships and fellowships specific for women in science. I wanted to reassure all the women in here, because over the years I've seen a lot of my women friends and colleagues drop out of a research career, or for that matter, full-time career, due to pressures of family and caring responsibility. But it's not all bad news for women. There's Women in STEM scholarship from the British Council, and that is for masters as well as early career women. And there's also Royal Society Dorothy Hodgkin Fellowship, named after Professor Dorothy Hodgkin, and L'Oreal UNESCO programs for women in science. Also, Wellcome Trust in the UK has a career re-entry fellowship for women who had to take a break from career due to caring responsibilities or other responsibilities. So it's good to look out for these fellowships. Again, they have fixed deadlines, so it's important to look for it well in advance. And I also like to bring your attention to research opportunities in India, because recently I visited this beautiful campus of IISER Trivandrum, and it's not just a beautiful campus, but a very important piece of very important work is being done there. Very interesting career research opportunities are out there. I'm sure most of the pharmacy students are familiar with Naipur, BITS, and Manipal University, but it's also important to note that you are equally eligible to apply for the research PhD program in research institutes like NCBS, TIFR, Indian Institute of Technologies have almost all IITs have a biological sciences division. You can try for PhDs there. IISc in Bangalore, also ISIS. There are several ISIS now all over India. The Rajiv Gandhi Center, so on and so forth. It's just a matter of looking at opportunities out there. And you might also have to qualify one of these entrance exams like GATE Life Sciences or CSIR GRF program. And some of these institutions have their own institutional PhD entrances. So yeah, it's something that you all can try as pharmacy students. And also, I like to just point out to several PhD level career paths, because you might think that after a PhD, or if you get your postdoctoral training, you need not always stick to academic research. That's one option that you can go for. You can become a group leader and a professor. But there are also other career paths for PhD level graduates. For example, you can look at working in the biopharma industry as a scientist. You might be needed for designing health policies for governments and NGOs. Science communication is another option in media as well as in science journals. Working in intellectual property laws, projects, managing projects, grants and facility, database management. And you can even start up your own company and become an entrepreneur and do your own business after PhD. So yeah, so just pointing out to all the different career options out there after your PhD. Yeah, so I think that's all from me for today. Thank you very much. I'll be very happy to take any questions. And I think because I started with a quote from Dr. Kalam, and I think it's appropriate to end with a quote from another great mind whom I had the opportunity to meet here in Cambridge, Professor Stephen Hawking. And he says, however difficult life may seem, there's always something that you can do and succeed at. And it only just matters that you don't give up. Thank you very much. Thanks very much to everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sherine. It was wonderful hearing from you. It was a wonderful and informative session. And I see a few questions. So shall we start off with the question sessions? I would like to see the chat box. Yeah. Yeah, the first question is, ma'am, as you said, publications from PhD will be beneficial for PhD. Means how should we focus on quality of the works or also the number of publications? Can you please share some tips to make our CV strong enough for applying for PDF? That's from our own Sonu. So that's about publications.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Sonu. Yeah, I think you might, you meant publications from PhD to apply for a postdoctoral fellowship. Yeah, yeah. One is to, to make sure that you follow up your PhD thesis, because many times I've seen that people just do their PhD, write their thesis, and then once you get the degree, you might forget publishing the work that is in the thesis. So first and foremost, it's important to start writing your manuscript as soon as you're writing your thesis, or soon before that. So that will, because publications usually take time, setting manuscripts, getting corrections done and all that. So it's important to start preparing your manuscript in advance. But also you can look at the journals in your area, look at how well they are publishing, the impact factor, and before deciding where you want to publish. And then it is also a matter of looking at your own PhD thesis and seeing what are the opportunities to publish, and whether it is beneficial to add on more things into your project that you're doing in terms of potentially getting a publication. So so these are things you might want to keep in mind.
Yeah, and I think tips to make our CV strong.
Oh, yes. Yeah, like I said, whatever opportunities you have during your PhD to learn a technique, or to use an instrument, or to publish papers. It need not be a direct publication from you, but publications along with collaborating labs and all that. Any such opportunity, just grab it, and all that will will help improve your CV and make it strong enough for a PDF, and make sure you highlight all that in your CV when you apply for postdoctoral fellowships.
Yeah, thank you. And the next question is, we are waiting for visa. It's delayed. What would be our first step after reaching UK? I like to work in any pharma field. I'm from Kerala. What would be my future in UK? So I think she's waiting for a visa. It's one Gayatri Arun. She's waiting for a visa. Would like to work in any field. So any suggestions?
Yeah, it's not clear what the visa is for. Is it to work as a student? Because if it's a I'm not entirely certain what Gayatri would want to do. Is it a student visa, Gayatri, or is it a work visa?
Ms. Gayatri, would you please respond?
1 minute, sir. I will unmute her.
Student visa.
Okay, all right. Yes, student visa. If it is usually this is a very busy time to apply for visas, because most of the postgraduate courses would have a start date, and even graduate level courses have a start date of September, October time. So June to September is a very busy time for visa applications, and hopefully you get your visa on time. If not, then it is important to notify the university. Some universities allow you to defer your entry to the next term, if it is a PhD program, for example. And
Hello.
yeah, what would be the first step after reaching the UK? It's important to understand your university more, and make sure you find some colleagues and friends, and also understand in general the life in the UK. Get used to the weather before it becomes winter. It's important to get all your winter clothes and things purchased and ready. Generally, British Council has a nice website telling you about life in the UK and what are the important things you need to know about living and working in the UK. So that's a good starting point to look at, to go for. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. We do have some messages from Abdul Samad sir. It says it's a very professional presentation, deserves high appreciation. So Sherine ma'am.
Oh, I'm flattered. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, then how is the duration? I think you answered part of it, the duration of PhD and PDF in UK, and the integrated PG options available there. Okay. Right. Again, from Sonu.
Right. Yeah. For PhD, all PhDs finish within four years, and PhD programs are usually funded for 4 years as well. It is not usually stretched beyond that unless you have a health reason or something like that. Postdoctoral fellowships, it depends on how long the grant is approved for, and it depends on the length of the grant usually. And if you're applying for a fellowship, so that's in the case of advertised postdoctoral positions. In case of postdoctoral fellowships, it's usually for 3 years, the contract with the with an option to extend it a little bit more. But yeah, usually for 3 years. And the integrated program, all master's programs here is for a year. Universities like Cambridge have integrated master's program where you start with the undergraduate course, which is for 3 years. And if you study for 1 more year, then you get something that's equivalent to a master's degree. So 4 years for integrated masters.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Then we have Shiny Janardhanan saying it was a very informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then Ms. Mahalakshmi wants to know, is it able to do postdoc from PhD from India? Whether you can do postdoc from India.
Yes. So after, do you mean doing a postdoc here after a PhD in India?
Yeah, I presume that's what she means.
Yes,
she would like to do.
Yeah, that's a very good opportunity, because I have a lot of colleagues here who did a PhD in India and now doing postdoc here in Cambridge. Yeah, that's definitely an option to look out for. And like I said, there are also fellowships that you can apply for from there to do a postdoctoral project here. So yes, definitely you can do that.
Okay, and I think we have come to the end of questions, and we have Dr. Srikumar sir saying a very nice and useful presentation. Thank you, sir. Moderation is also good. Okay, introduction, sharing. Thank you all. So it's a message from the president.
Hello, Nawin.
So I think Unnikrishnan
Hello.
sir wants to say something. Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to just ask Ms. Sherine, who had elaborated on the research possibilities and the availabilities for Indian students in UK. Ms. Sherine, thank you for your excellent presentation. May I ask you one question? This is on behalf of the students who are seeking research facilities in the UK, and it has got an nexus with what Mahalakshmi has already asked. Could you please explain why is the possibility of SSS available in UK? That is called as the split size scholarship program, which is normally a student who registers in India for PhD. They are allowed to do part of the research work in UK by the University Commission.
Yes, that's right.
Tell me something regarding that?
Yes.
Or not for audience.
Yeah. Yes, you can do part of your PhD in here. I think the Newton Fund is one of the options. Newton Fund, I think that's from the Royal Society, that allows you to do part of your work here. And even Wellcome Trust has some kind of fellowship along with DBT to do part of your PhD in the UK. So those are the fellowships you might want to look at. Newton Fund from Royal Society and Wellcome Trust DBT fellowships. There might be other options as well, but these are the ones that come to my mind at the moment. And just talking about postdoctoral fellowships, again, Human Frontiers is another fellowship program that allows you to move from the country where you have done your PhD to another country and do your postdoc. So Human Frontiers Fellowship is also something you can look at, I think.
Thank you, Dr. Sherine. And by the way, if we finish or if we do our postdoc, are we allowed to work in the other parts of the European Union, or are you out of Europe?
No, I mean, with a work visa in the UK, you cannot work in Europe unless it is part of your postdoctoral program or something where you are collaborating with the lab. That is entirely possible. But with a work visa that is provided for your postdoctoral degree, no, you cannot work elsewhere in Europe.
Okay. So I think we have run out of questions. So that means everyone is crystal clear and all are ready packed to fly to UK.
That's
Okay.
great to know.
So,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate all the efforts that you have taken, Dr. Sherine. A big thank you from all of us. It is very useful session, and I'm sure all of us are benefited from listening to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Audience, you have been a wonderful audience, very cooperative, and of course, very interactive. So thank you very much for being such a lovely audience and proud pharmacist. And thanks to KPGA for giving me this opportunity, Nazir sir, and of course, Srikumar sir, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I hope it was an evening well spent for all of us. Thank you all. Good night. God bless. Ms. Sonu, will you please take over?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Dr. Sherine, very wonderful presentation. And also you are welcome to be a part of KPGA. Dr. Nishit will be sending that application form and other details, please.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Abdul sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes, that was a highly inspiring, very informative and interactive session. On behalf of all the participants as reflected in the chat box, I would like to thank our very knowledgeable speaker, Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas, and the very vibrant moderator, Dr. Naveen Kumar Panikar, for this great informative experience. Thank you so much, madam, and thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Now, here we are at the official ending of the session. Before moving to the words of gratitude, on behalf of KPGA, I would like to invite you all for the next webinar on 12 June 2022 on the topic Pharmacy Profession and Practice in Gulf Countries, Opportunities and Challenges. Gratitude is the language of heart. I'm very delighted to invite a dynamic pharma professional, Mrs. Ashwati A., Grade 3 Analyst, Drugs Testing Laboratory, Trivandrum, and the life member of KPGA to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Sonu. A warm good evening to all. Respected senior pharmacy professionals, Dr. P.K. Srikumar sir, other respected pharmacy professionals, colleagues, and dear students. First of all, I would like to thank KPGA for giving me an opportunity to be here as part of this webinar series to propose the vote of thanks. I also take this opportunity to congratulate the entire team of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association for organizing such inspiring and motivating seminars enriched with eminent versatile speakers all over the world to build up our pharmacy profession and also enlighten the path of career for pharmacy students. Then coming to my duties, I would like to express our sincere thanks to Mr. Sunil Kumar D, Treasurer, Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association and Principal of AJ College of Pharmacy, Trivandrum, for delivering the welcome speech. Thank you, sir. Today, our webinar titled Dream to Become a Researcher in the United Kingdom, Introduction to Pathways and Procedures, was chaired by an eminent personality with enormous experience in the manufacturing industry, Mr. P.K. Harikumar, retired General Manager, KSTP, Alapura. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to you, sir. Introduction to our module was done by Dr. Subhash Philip, Vice Principal, Dr. Joseph Matoma, Institute of Sciences and Research, Kaimkulam. I extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir. We are honored to have Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas, Research Associate, Department of Pathology, University of Cambridge, and Bi-Fellow in Biochemistry, Murray Edwards College, University of Cambridge, to share her experience and expertise in the field of pharmaceutical research abroad and to help our young pharma professionals to dream to become a researcher in the UK. It was really an inspiring session, and she explicitly explained the pathways and procedures that leads to fulfill this dream. On behalf of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association, I extend our sincere gratitude to you, Dr. Sherine Elizabeth Thomas. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Our webinar was effectively moderated by Dr. Naveen Kumar Panikar, Associate Professor, St. Joseph's College of Pharmacy, Cherthala. He's an experienced faculty member and contributed well to make this program a successful one. On behalf of KPGA, I express our sincere thanks to you, sir. Today's program is honored with presence of many dignitaries, professionals from various fields of pharmacy, including academia, industry, quality control, research, enforcement, and hospital and community pharmacy. I take this opportunity to extend our sincere thanks to all the delegates for joining us today and to make this webinar a grand success. On behalf of Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association, once again, I thank one and all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Over to
ma'am.
you, Sonu.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Sherine
Thank
ma'am,
you.
Naveen, Subhash,
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sunil, Harikumar sir, Ashwati.
Thank you, sir.
Very good performance by you. Very good performance by you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Sonu, please.
Yes. So once again, I thank all of you for your valuable participation and patience throughout the session. I hope all of you will be benefited from the session. So dear pharma community and very beloved young pharma aspirants, a dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. So chase your dreams and create your success story. Wishing you all the very best. It's me, Sonu Beni, signing off. Let's all race for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Once again, thanking you all. Stay safe and stay blessed until we meet again. Thank you.